But okie dokes, let's finish off one more floor of Lair. Hello, my friends. Lovely to see you all. I'm very happy to see you too. Not at all disappointed. What the heck? Well, that went from 0 to 100 real fast. It's hopping time, boys. And then he hip-hopped all the way home. Beautiful. Let's head to a different stairwell, shall we? Oh, in your head you were starting to think how advanced AI was in the game. To be fair, a lot of games do have really fun stuff like that. That's what I love about, like, RimWorld's AI. So great at coming up with, like, stories on the fly because it auto-plugs in relevant names and stuff like that. You know, use various tags of personality on your colonists in order to determine what kind of art they'll make. Super impressive and very, very entertaining stuff. Please kill them. Yes. Perfect. First try. AI Dungeon is also pretty good at coming up with stories. In general, I want to try out some of those AI writing prompts. I've watched a few of Doug's videos where he goes up against chat in AI generated content, and it's like a contest to give prompts to the AI, and whatever happens due to the AI is your turn. And that's super fascinating stuff. I've also talked about it with some coworkers recently at my job, and you know, it's very relevant to software design, and so it definitely got a lot of like interesting insights over on that side of things. But okie dokes. Oh man, I don't know what to train anymore. Everything's just going too smoothly that normally this is where I'd be like, oh gosh, I have this huge gaping hole in my run that needs to be filled or else we will die in the next few minutes here. Not so much today. Things are just kind of sweet. No Man Draw Fort is hilarious too, even animal characteristics. Is that a drawing AI? Like an AI art thing? Because those I've fooled around with a bunch and had a really good time. The like Dale Many is super fun. I thought I was the cleverest person in the world and I had to draw Hello World, and I just saved that to my desktop because it was actually some fun images as well. Programming humor and cool visuals? Sign me up. Let's go with a bit more armor, I guess. We can keep inching that along. Oh, you meant Dwarf Fort? Oh, okay, so that's, yeah, more similar, or you're comparing it to the RimWorld talk earlier. I've definitely, yeah, heard good things about that one, for sure. Yeah, it's impressive what computers can do these days, huh? Okay, can we stop walking this direction? You're gonna make me lose my freaking mind, game. There we go. Apparently only the orange brain was scary through a glass wall. The rest of them, yeah. I don't see what the big deal is, apparently. But perfect, there we go. Much more better. And we'll probably just blitz our way through the rest of this floor, providing nothing truly extraneous happens, truly unexpected. And then let's just not accidentally go down to the next floor, shall we? Let's not forget where we're at here just because we're blitzing through this at a faster pace than I have on the majority of characters in this entire series. I almost went downstairs even though I was actively talking about it at the time. What, only Orange Brain? The Orange Brain, when they're on the other side of the glass, prompts the game to be like, are you sure about that? There's nothing they can do from the other side of the glass. But sure, I guess it's very scary. I'm curious what the criteria is there. I'm guessing it's because they're a summoner. And even though they won't summon on the other side of glass, it's got to be something like that. Isn't there a fun procedurally generated text adventure game that gets silly? I feel like there is. Or even a couple, right? I mean, even... You know what? Now I'm blanking on all of them. Is AI Dungeon like that? I think AI Dungeon works kind of like that, the one that Colgate mentioned. Yeah, Colgate, you're saying AI Dungeon? Okay, I was pretty sure. I've never tried it out, so I have no idea what kind of content it comes up with. But AI is pretty pretty wild stuff, pretty nifty too. But okie dokie here. We're pretty much at the end of our evening. Can maybe push to one more floor here. I was expecting Vaults 4 to go a wee bit slower at the end of the day, so let's check out our entrance to Vaults, see how things are looking, see how things are feeling. And we'll go from there. Excuse me? I mean, granted, I've been far too lucky this game so far. So that, fair's fair in that regard. But what? This looks extremely similar to what you'd get at Vault 5. No kidding. Did you miss the treasure boss level? Not yet. No, I was waiting for the end here, and we're just about there. Don't get me wrong, but what? Slouch a zillion times and die? Well, I think I will go with some slouching here. It's pretty crazy how the best Go player quit Go because they lost to an AI. Imagine runners quitting because they're slower than cars. There's a really good documentary about it was AlphaGo, right? I think that's the name of the AI. But there's a really good documentary about that entire process that's just fascinating and super cool insight into the world of creating AI. And yeah, was AlphaGo? Yeah, I was pretty sure. My brother showed me that documentary and I loved it. Super cool stuff. But yeah, okay. I'll slouch. Oh, they roll asleep, so dealt no damage. Right. Fair enough. Another AIs that trash AlphaGo. It's pretty wild, right? Manicure, you love the insight and how playing against AI felt so alien to the top player, right? Because they didn't play like a human being would. And yeah, and the different strategies, because I was trying to remember, there was something about how at one point the AI did something that wasn't the quote unquote optimal play, and that's what in large part led to the victory in that match. So there's so many weird little factors to how it works. Even managed to win one game against AlphaGo. You think that was pretty neat? Super cool stuff, yeah. No, it's really impressive on every part, right? The players themselves are impressive, the designers of the AI itself, just the sheer amount of flexibility it had. Pretty wild stuff across the board. So if I slouch one more time, I'm guessing Juggernaut catch up, hey? Oh, I want to slouch one more time so bad. Yeah, there's a single move that the AI didn't simulate that he did, and it broke the entire rest of the game. It was cool. Pure describing it as the god move. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Super interesting stuff. Nothing has made me want to play Go more than watching that documentary. But okay. Do I have time? It's going to take one full turn to slouch. Does this Juggernaut close the gap? If they do, is that a problem? Yes. Short answer? Yes. You recently read that our brains probably dip into quantum computing and we're now looking to that more? Oh, that's interesting. That would mean that, yeah, we just have more kind of nodal states, right? Quantum computing is super cool, going from binary to a three-way toggle, just exponentially, or not exponentially. Is it exponential? I use that word incorrectly too often, but huge increase in the amount of computational power relative to space. One of my classmates in modern physics gave a presentation on quantum computing that blew my freaking mind. Super cool stuff. Yeah, at the risk of dying here, I'm gonna slouch one more time. I mean, how can you not? Actually, kind of reasonable to just keep slouching, hey? Essentially, instead of 1 and 0, you can store more information due to the quantum stuffs. Yeah. No, I know you thought it. What about it? Yeah, because I was pretty sure the basic quantum computer is a 3-state toggle. So you're adding, 1.5 or you're adding an extra 50%. Dance? See, that's one way for sure, but it's tempting. Why dance when you can fly? just die right away in one turn. Because I don't want to stare dance. Coming back down is basically going to get me killed. I'm probably going to do a teleport trick on my way back, if I had to guess, unless I'd make some good clearance here, which is interesting. Usko would dance. Usko would do a lot of things, and it would be one heck of a party. Unfortunately, we're not quite in the same boat. I mean, alternatively, I could risk it by jumping off the stairs. If I'm committed to murder here, which all good Barachi are. Well, if this kills me, then sue me. I'm gonna hop down. And I'm gonna slouch again. 2 Liches died, Juggernaut died, Gold Dragon died. 1 Juggernaut left, now it's dead. So. Got him. You thought quantum computing meant that you could solve NP problems in P time? Oh, see, I've never heard of it from the computational side because that was in a physics course that we had a presentation on it. That's very interesting. I'd have to remember all of my, like, big O, big N notation shenanigans. It has definitely been a hot minute since I did any of that level of computational stuff here. It's not P time if you use quantum computing. Then what is it? But there we go. Holy moly. Okay, that shows how stupidly overpowered this character is. That's like the scariest Depths 1 I've ever experienced. 2 Juggernauts, 2 Gold Dragons, multiple Liches, like just stupid. And just slouch a few times, you know? Whatever, it's not a big deal. It's kind of cool, I guess. Like, whatever. Just doing my thing. If you had a quantum fridge, it wouldn't change size. If you can store double, or at least double, the amount of food in it. No, exactly, yeah. Because it's like the biggest solution to the fact that, you know, there's only so packed that we can make these circuit boards. But if you, if you changed each of those spots to have more functionality, then yeah, you can fit so much more in. Sorry, I got distracted because Manicure, I just read your post, and immediately my reaction was like, oh, posture check, sit up straight. But yes, Kermit is gonna have the worst posture imaginable after this. You know, all that slouching can't be great for you. And remember, over Clown Fitz, slow and hilarious killer? Never. Kermit the Shrimp, indeed. Wild stuff. But okie dokes, let's finish exploring our Depths 1. I think we'll have time to do so here. Time to get ourselves killed before accessing that treasure vault yet. Don't you worry, folks. There will be blood. I'm almost out of things to train except just putting on defensive abilities until the end of time. Maybe evocations. Maybe a bit of invocations. Let's do it. Yeah, I think so, Safe It. I think fighting is just going to be on in the background for the next indeterminate amount of time here. And we'll just blast our way through these Sun's Guns as much as possible. It should be a little bit cautious as to just how quickly I smash the tab, especially against a bit of reflection there. Definitely could have gone a little bit more poorly for me, all things considered, but I'll take it. Tengu Reavers, also very scary for just the sheer variety in their magical abilities, but nothing Kermit can't handle. And I know it's truly a transgression that I'm playing a character named Kermit, and I do not in any way, shape, or form have a good Kermit impression. I've tried. It does not turn out on the outside even close to what it sounds like in my head. In my head, I do a decent Kermit impression, but in real life, no, okay, that one doesn't even sound good in my head. How did I do it? There was like, I needed to have like a bubble in the middle of my mouth. You can only do coughing from Pokemon anime. Is that just coughing? I'm embarrassed to say just how limited my knowledge of Pokemon is. I largely got into Pokemon in my adulthood. I mean, I had one friend who had it on Pokemon, had it on their Game Boy. I never had any handheld consoles growing up, but this one buddy had, I think Sapphire, could have been Red. It was one of the early Pokemon games. Had it on this Game Boy though, and brought it for a road trip up to my family home at one point. So that was like a 30-hour road trip, and I played the crap out of that game, but then never touched it again until I was an adult, when I got really back into it. My partner has always grown up with Pokemon. Her and her sister absolutely adore the games and buy every single one as they come out. So she had Sword, and I played a bit of that. And she loved it because I was just going around being like, what the heck is even that? What the heck is even that? I didn't know they made Pokemons like this these days. And it was definitely a fun adventure to try out. Also, not wearing cat ears when playing Felid seriously hindered the content quality. Gotta save Kermit with Kermit impressions at least. Oh, I'll have to work on it. I'm still wondering, do good impressionists practice with like a recording setup? Because I swear, sometimes I think I'm like just goated with the impressions. I think I nailed it. I dead on perfect impression, perfect, accent impression. Terrible. I listened to it back and I'm like, oh gosh, I can't believe like people heard me say that, and they also heard me label it, so they know that it was me just being terrible. They must, right? Right? I know, Llama. Hear yourself different in your head, right? Yeah. I always assumed it was due to like vibrations through your jaw messing with your eardrum, and that's why most people sound deeper than they do in real life. I know I do. I like my voice in my head. Don't like it that much out loud. Other people seem to think it's okay, so I'll take it. Good enough for me. I'm also way better at listening to myself talk lately, or nowadays, just because I've done it so much and cutting videos and stuff like that. I don't even do much like editing by any stretch, but just cutting videos means I have to listen to my dumb ass go off for way more than I would normally over the course of a lifetime. And you definitely get used to it. That's fair to say the least. But you scare yourself hearing messages you leave? Yeah, 100%. I think that's everyone. Colgate, you like the voice in your head because you're used to it? 100%. I know my wife hates her voice in recordings because how different it is. I'm trying to think what the big thing for me is. I mean, definitely pitch or like tone of my voice is very different. I'm very like deep and cool in my head, which is not at all how it actually comes out. But I think the big thing for me too is that in my head I sound way more excitable or way more excited than I do. Oftentimes I listen to myself back, especially on stream here, because, you know, we have like the nice acoustic ramblings of Adrian Towns in the background. And I'm like, wow, that sounds way like softer than I possibly could have expected. It sounds like I'm putting on airs, but it's just strange. You try not to listen to yourself in recordings. The realization of how you sound to others is miserable. Yeah, you're not alone there, Colgate. Don't you worry. I mean, you would get used to it, I feel. At least that's how it worked for me. Hated it. And then one day it was just like, nah, whatever. It is what it is. It's not bad. It's different. 100% different. But I'm fully used to it now, for sure. Even when I call my mom every once in a while, she's like, hey, I'm listening to your video right now. And I just hear me in the background. And so I'm like talking while I'm hearing myself talk through the phone. It's a weird experience for sure. But okie dokie, let's go to our lovely treasure trove, shall we? Well, I was hoping to find more Fear Scrolls before using up 5 of them. And we actually did. We have another extra one here, so that's fantastic. The next thing we should do is drop some of this trash. Anything that we don't absolutely need, because we might want to carry out a bunch of stuff with us if all things go according to plan here. Renlau, you sound way more like your dad in recordings, which always throws you off. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that would definitely be a strange instance. I sound very different from any of my siblings or parents, but oh my gosh, I can only imagine. I'll show you were holding your breath for this. It's here, boss level. Hold on to your pants, everyone. We are about to go for the ride of your life. Just drop everything, no need to complicate it. I mean, you probably have a point there, but we should be good with, what is that, 7 slots? 7 slots? Or 7 tots? Let's do this, baby. Oh, a jewelry. Interesting. Well, let's start with all of the artifacts here. I guess not all of those were artifacts. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're trash. You're garbage, and you'll never be no one. Protection from cold. Amulet of reflection. I probably would like. Okay, we have a better R poison. Love to see it. He told us to drop everything. 7 slots, 15 items. Fortunately, not everything is... Not all that glitters is gold, you know? So, don't have to worry too much about grabbing all these. And in fact, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let's take a peek at our haul here, shall we? So, Ring of Gop, garbage. Probably will throw that out. We know that this is fantastic. That was our old ring. Another RF ring. Wait. This is like super close to twinsies with other things that we've seen before. But that's not too shabby. And -4 dex +6 invisible are like RF. If we ever have to switch our armor, that's 100% going on. Otherwise, it's middling. Establishment. F the establishment, excuse me. But honestly, yeah, F the establishment. That's not a good ring. Siren up, that's great if we ever need to resist poison again. Ice with Slay +5. Slay +5 is kind of tempting to just ramp up the slaying, but don't really need it here either. And last but not least here, triple cold resistance is actually quite good with our current setup. RN, our poison, our lek. I mean, drain is the least of our concerns, just don't take it off, forehead. Ring of Sol's cold forever, exactly, yeah. And yeah, it's no armory full to the brim with arbalists. It's no damnation raining down on us from above. But in a good way this time, you know, not like well, now I can't think of anyone that damnates. Damnations? Huh. I'll go with damnates. I like that. Doesn't really work. Dex rings are nice with the arbalist. Exactly. We have a lot of dex rings actually. You keep out of Pion and maybe Fobinat and Gatruli? Oh, I will. I will gladly. And they're right on up there with Kiadifak. I mean, Sarnopn. You gotta really get the... That's a sound that English speakers are not good at, but I'm pretty sure exists in multiple languages. I mean, English just cheats and is like, just call it pneumonia. PN? Nah. Makes the n sound. Saranut. Something like that. Because English is stupid. And that's the one rule, is that there are no rules. But fantastic. That is quite the haul. That's very much worth 5 fear scrolls, I feel. Especially if I can decide on what the heck I want to go. So drop the establishment, kick it to the curb. Take that, establishment. As well as God. Sorry, Gop. Not God, Gop. Or Gop. Sorry. What else? What else? Wakak. Hit the curb, buddy. Love ya. Love to have ya, but not today, not today. And then yeah, I think we just swap off this. I mean, the Sea Invisible is kind of nice, but this could definitely swap off for Solve Cold Forever Ring. Have our poison just naturally. Love to see it. I think there's a PN somewhere in Finnish, right? I think, yeah, a lot of languages out there. I should remember some, because I feel like I know... I'm getting flashes of memories from when I took like an intro linguistics course and you had to do some like semantic taking apart of foreign languages, which is super cool, by the way. If you ever get the opportunity, I highly recommend just checking out an intro linguistics or any level of linguistics course. Such a fascinating field. It will completely change the way you think about everything that you say and do in life. So that's awesome. I go in Reflection Amulet, not necessarily right away. My big issue here is that we don't have a shield. So we'll have 5 shielding, which can reflect stuff, but it's not super likely. So we'll have to make that a bit more of a runtime decision, see how we're feeling as we continue moving forward here. Well, pain, apparently not really, like pneumonia, but it's usually just called Kikokumi? Can't talk. Me is how I would pronounce that word. But that's going very literal phonetics. That's like Spanish. I love Spanish, by the way. Brilliant language because everything is pretty much pronounced exactly how it looks. When you have a language with 5 vowels and 5 vowel sounds, beautiful. English, on the other hand, 5 vowels, 26 vowel sounds. As many vowel sounds as there are letters in the alphabet. And it's just absurd. Especially since none of those sounds are consistent either, of course. You just kind of make it up as you go along. Oh, and are you from Canada? Because in that case, it's totally different from everywhere else in the States. And are you from these specific states? Because if so, then that's also different than both Canada and those other states. So we have fun here. English, yay. I'm super impressed with anyone who learns English just because of how stupid of a language it is. Cap'n is apparently a real word in the dictionary, like aye Cap'n. There's an apostrophe in there though, right? There's between the P and an N. It's cap apostrophe N. Hold up. Google. Cap'n. CAPN is just a company apparently. Club Aquatique L'Esperance du Nord? Is that what you were talking about? Of course, Cap'n Crunch. Yeah, that's what I expected to see. Cap'n Urban Dictionary. I will not read that aloud. Or is this like you be capping? You know, modern lingo. You just used your Boggle cheat sheet where it's ending in PN? Interesting. Maybe I'll have to look into that harder at some point. First results on YouTube, not promising. Or YouTube. Google, YouTube, it's all the same company, whatever. But good to know. Finnish is fun like that. It's mostly phonetic language. That's awesome. PN is in 4 Finnish words, and you've not heard any of them used. They're quite rare. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Oxford Dictionary thinks it has an apostrophe. Aha. See, that makes sense to me, but I'm always happy to be surprised. Words are fun, and learning new words that you never knew existed, even more so. So, with that, I think that is a decent spot for us to start winding up here. Winding down, more like it. I guess that's what we've been doing this whole time, just kind of shooting the crap like we do, which I always appreciate. Always a really fun time. I want to keep going, but unfortunately, I think I'm pretty much at the cap for talking with the current state of my throat here, and definitely should spend the rest of the night getting ready to go back to work. I think I'm finally feeling better enough to go back into the office, which normally people might think sucks, but I'm somebody who actually prefers we have a hybrid work schedule, and I really like having some time to stay home, you know, hang out with my dog, keep her company while I'm working away on some code. But I also like going into the office because it just, you know, is a new environment. Gets me out of the house. They have really good coffee down there. Oh, there's a place called DeVille. It's in downtown Calgary that makes fantastic coffee, just delicious. It's the P silent in pneumonia in English. It is Colgate, yeah, pneumonia. And there are a few PN words, I feel, but I might be mixing up. P's loud if you aim it in the water. Yeah, that's the secret. You gotta aim for the side of the bowl, and then the P is definitely silent. And hey, Narkowski, you're coming right at the end here, unfortunately. Always lovely to see you, though. We will be heading off. If the salute is a hello, it could be a goodbye as well. You never really know. Pneumatic is in other words. There's at least 2. See, there are literally dozens of us. Interesting that that word is used in Finnish. The P is pronounced because someone put it there, right? See, that's sensical language building right there. That just makes sense. If it's there, it should make a sound. And yet, you want to talk to the French about faux though? You mean fox? Fox pass? That's a bit of a fox pass. Yeah. Of course. No, I think that that's very fair. There are lots. I mean, even like O, French word O, which is EAU, makes no sense. If you put it in front of someone who's never spoken the language, they're just gonna be, yeah. Pneumos is Greek for air/wind, right? That would make sense because pneumatic. Is pneumatic also a PN? It's a similar sound, right? And that would make sense with the root of pneumos. If a null gets sick with it, is it pneumonia? Oh, I think you got a point there. Oh my gosh. You kids are too killer, you know what I mean? How am I supposed to get out of here at a reasonable time when you're keeping me entertained far too much? Pneumonia being an illness of the lungs, it makes sense too, right? Yeah. Oh, that's very neat. I love learning Latin roots for words. Super useful for deciphering anything. That's why my partner's really good at it, because she actually took linguistics in university, and so she's done a lot of like word root courses at her time. And so basically throw her a random phobia, and there are pretty decent odds that she kind of puzzles out what it might relate to just based on that. Super useful, super cool stuff. Anyway, before I keep rambling on incessantly until the end of time itself, let's start getting ready a little bit to continue on, mostly by just seeing who else is live at the moment here. Who can shoot off a raid to. Pneumatic is Fininatum. So you said everything is pronounced. So if the P is pneumatinum. Pneumatinum? Oh gosh, that's, yeah, not a word that I could, I can parse in my head here, at least not at the end of my stream. Your mom bought a Hooked on Phonics, and it's just phonics. That's very cool. You pronounce both T's in Finnish. Oh, where it's like tinen, something like that, where you need to end a syllable with a T and then start the next one. Or there's probably another way that, again, non-English speakers who actually have cultured languages can pronounce. I agree, Manicure. That's super neat. Thanks, Colgate, for the impromptu Finnish lesson. Pneumatinen is a bit weird in Finnish. So yeah, is it like Panu? Huh. Like Spanish, and you pronounce every letter, right? It's awesome. What a great language. Absolutely love Spanish. I was gonna say that's part of why I learned it in high school, but the main reason is that French exchange got to go to Quebec, which is neat, very cool. But Spanish exchange students got to go to Spain, so I wanted to go to Europe. And Spanish is awesome. Super useful too, like traveling places. I've been to quite a few places. We're just having like base level conversational Spanish. Awesome. Super handy. Talking French and Spanish in high school ruined both for you. I did that in junior high, but I agree. I kept mixing them up. Can't even count to 10 in one without slipping into the other. Yeah, tests were a nightmare in junior high. I remember that. But I'd love Finnish. I'm sure I would. In another life, I just spent all my time learning languages. It's so cool. And I just love being able to converse with people in their own language. Maybe one day, when I'm rich and famous, I'll have all the time in the world. And I'm sure I'll use it productively instead of just sitting on my butt all day doing absolutely nothing. But, of course, all good things must come to an end here. It does look like Aribuns is currently live, so I think that's where we'll be heading to next. I think they're playing, what were they playing? Paper Mario, so definitely come on by, say hello, and have a good time. Always a good time with Aribuns, of course. Colgate, for you mixed up Swedish and French when you were learning them. That probably makes sense. I don't know Swedish very well. It's fairly similar to most Nordic languages, is it? Fairly similar to Norwegian, though don't tell any Swedish people that I said that. It also makes sense to me that like Swiss is very influenced by like what, French, German, and Italian, is it? Something like that. Like how MMA fighters sound wimpy in English, but have this gumption sound scary in their native language, right? And any romance language is way sexier than anything you could say in English. Both are Germanic languages. That right makes sense. Makes sense. Same with Danish, I guess. But okie dokes, let's start up the raid here. We'll of course be back. I'm hoping I will be on for my stream Wednesday. I had to take this last Wednesday off because that was the kind of peak feeling like absolute garbage of my cold. Hopefully next Wednesday we're back on. I really want to finish Cult of the Lamb one of these days. Only playing 2 hours a week. Turns out it takes a long time to beat a game. At least if you're as bad at it as I am, you know. So yeah, we'll be doing that Wednesday, and then next Sunday we'll be back in with good old Kermit here, and hopefully seeing some victory. It'd be embarrassing if we couldn't, but hey, I've definitely done worse than that before, so we'll leave that to it and see how that goes next Sunday. Danish sounds like an alien language, like Swedish but potato in mouth. Yeah, I have a bunch Danish relatives, so I get a little sprinkling of that every once in a while. I cannot speak any Danish, and I wouldn't deign to insult the Danish people or the Danes like that by even attempting to do anything on stream until I was a bit more competent and confident in it. But again, here I go, rambling away. What else is new? Let's at least prep the raid, because then I have a ticking time bomb that, you know, I only have so long to bore you all to death before we have to move on. Unfortunately, fortunately, depends on your perspective, I guess, at the end of the day. But yeah, again, I had one heck of a time tonight. Really fun, not just because I'm off Violet either. That is part of it. Really fun to be on Barachi. Loving the new ranged combat. Also really great time with all of you lovely folks, so I hope that you all enjoyed as well. Of course, that's more important, arguably, or really just objectively, than my own enjoyment. So I hope you all had a great time. I very much appreciate it, whether you were, chatting alongside us here, if you're lurking in the background, or if you're watching this down the road on YouTube or through the VODs, then thank you, each and every one of you. I always appreciate getting to do this, and it's been nice after being sick for a lot this week to kind of recover just in time to jump back into a new run here and have a heck of a time doing it. But of course, this is where we will leave it off, and regardless of my incessant ramblings and all this wonderful conversation that, again, I'm so sorry to have to depart from, I do hope that you all are having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you out there, and I definitely hope to see you soon. I'll see ya.